We are entering a house now in the Israeli border town of Ofakim, right on the Gaza border. This is a town, this home that was taken over by Hamas terrorists in a horrible shootout on Saturday. We're about to get a briefing inside the very home where it happened.
I remind you all that this took place on Shabbat morning, Saturday morning. It was also the most holiest holiday for the Jews, Simchat Torah. So it was supposed to be a quiet Shabbat. It was supposed to be a quiet day. This took place on Shabbat, on the same day. The woman that lives here, she's now very famous in Israel. Because when she told the story, she said that during the 19 hours, she offered coffee and cookies for the terrorists, just to help the special forces, to help them take more time and help them to prepare to kill the terrorists. So basically, she helped the policemen and the special forces to earn more time by offering them food and beverages and coffee and everything, because they were here for 19 hours.
How is the family doing now? How is the couple?
משפחה חזקה. הבן הוא קצין במשטרה, אסור לו להתראיין, אבל הוא כאן איתנו. והאישה והבעל הם פשוט גיבורים גדולים. הם גיבורים גדולים, והם בעזרת השם יצאו מזה. כמובן שמדינת ישראל מספיק חזקה לחדש להם את הבית ונחזיר להם את השלווה ואת החיים מחדש.
It's a strong family, they're all safe now. Their son is also a policeman, so he participated in the rescue of the hostages. Wow. He was one of the members that basically helped to kill the terrorists. So now they're all safe, and the state of Israel will help to basically clean this place and help to rebuild it.
Heroes. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Okay. First of all, I would like to welcome you to Israel. I know it's a terrible time, and I hope you will come here in other reasons, a good one. I'm Evetar. I want to say that I'm a police officer. I'm doing this interview just to make sure that everyone around the world will know the truth. I know what happened to us and my story. I called to my mom in 6:30 in the morning when we heard the alert, and I told her to go to the safe place. She told me that she hears shots all the time, and I thought that she was kidding, and I told her it's only the bombs were really regular to that. And she told me, no, heavy, there's someone shooting at us. And it's hanging, she hangs the phone. I came from my girlfriend's house. She lives 1 kilometer from here. I came here and I saw a lot of police officers and a lot of bodies all around the world, people that I work with them. As I said, I am a police officer, and those are friends of mine that got killed, that got murdered by those terrorists. I came and I joined the force that was fighting for my parents' house and fighting for their lives, and people got killed to save my parents and everyone around here. I got neighbors and friends that got murdered, and I was shocked in the moment, and I realized that this is my parents' house, and I'm going to enter the house and I'm going to see bodies of them. I stay focused and I try to stay calm because I know that I need to help my friend, and my friend needs me. I'm another soldier in this battle, so we need to be focused and go to do our job and kill those terrorists for what they've done to us. Not just for me, for the whole neighborhood. The city of Ofakim, they are suffered by those terrorists. A lot of, almost 50 people got murdered. So it's huge. As I entered the house, we broke inside, and I saw another police officer, and they started to negotiate. I came to him, I told him, I'm with you, what's going on? This is my house, this is my parents, what's going on with them? He told me that he's negotiating and he doesn't know. I was really shocked. By the way, all the time, meanwhile, that we're standing on the step door of my house, and I saw the terrorist. It was like he was standing here in the stairs, and he pointing us with the AK-47. All the time, there was bombs and hand grenades throwing at us, and they were shooting all over the place. Next house to us, a family got murdered. The other house, there was a battle between our force to them. It was a whole battlefield. Time goes by, and I want to know what's going on with my parents. And suddenly I heard my mom say that she needed her insulin shot. I'm sorry for my broken language. I hope you understand me, okay? And forgive me about it. I'll try to do my best. And she needed for an insulin shot. And she was screaming. Then I got a relief that she's alive. And then my father told her to shut up because they're going to kill her. So she need to be shut up, and not speak at all. And then I told the other policeman, Arkady, he's a hero, by the way. He was been here all the time and negotiated, and he never gave up on my parents. So I own him a lot. I told him, my parents, I can hear them. That's their voices. They are alive. Now we've got hope. And my mother needed their insulin shot. So in the negotiation, we figured it out that the terrorists will come and give her the shot, because the insulin shot was in her bedroom, which is downstairs on the first floor. We managed to get them down, and then it was the worst sight of my life, and I will never forget it. As they go down the stairs, before that, my father warned us that he has a hand grenade, and he pulled the trigger off. So he maybe planned to throw it at us because there were 4 people in the doorsteps, or maybe he knew that if we will shoot him, he will fall down and the hand grenade will explode. So
how was he telling you? How was he?
My father shot us.
He shot it.
He has a hand grenade. He just told us, and he took the trigger off, and he had a big smile on his face. And I was, what's going on? What are we going to do? Because if I shoot him, the hand grenade will fall down and then explode, and we are in danger, and my friends are in danger. So we always kept talking. And my mama, she was really cool, and tried to stay calm. And he held the hand grenade, in the other hand the trigger. He held her and put the hand grenade on her head. So you can do nothing. And that's my mama there, and she's suffering, and I don't know what to do, how to help her. He came down here, and we tried to negotiate. He gave her the shot, by the way, because we told him it's not the way to die as a hero. If my mother will fall down and die from a bad situation. And time goes by, we hear a lot of people, and all the time there's a battle next door, in the next house. The SWAT team came here with their soldiers, and their commander told me that that I'm involved emotionally in this house because that's my parents, and he told me to step back. The immediate reaction for me was to push him and tell him, no, I'm going inside, that's my parent. And he told me to be calm and that he needs me to be strong. He looked down and I told him, do your thing, I'm counting on you and I love you. I will back down, I will not interrupt for anything. I came to the other commander of the SWAT team and I printed the house. I know how the stairs goes, the rooms, where you can enter. And I painted and I drew in all the exits and the exit from this house, and that's helped them because they want to come in from the other wall of the house, from the top, and I told them that is a brick wall. In the second room, there's a room that you can blow it and it explode immediately. And that's helped them. And from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. I was here. And then they told me to get off, and I did. and in 3 a.m. in the morning, almost 20 hours, that my parents are kept hostages in this house with 5 terrorists, that they have 4 AK-47 and hand grenade and RPG. It was also in there for 20 hours, over 20 hours, and then the SWAT team came and broke inside, and I just fell on the ground because I heard a lot of bombs and shooting, and I thought to myself, what's the odds that they will stay alive, one of them, or maybe get wounded? The SWAT team made a wonderful job. They killed all the 5 terrorists, and they saved my parents' life. And they get them out of the house. And I'm still not believe that this has happened. I'm with my parents. I'm touching them. I'm speaking with them, and I'm not believe that they are alive. And I'm not believe that none of them was got murdered by those terrorists. They are not criminal. They are much worse than that.
What language did you speak?
First of Hebrew, and then a police officer that is Arab came and spoke in their language. There's no other definition than a miracle. I think that God Himself came down and kept my parents. If you knew my parents and my mom, you will know that they're more than good people. Everyone that came in this house, their hospitality is amazing. No one is living there if he's hungry. My mama, she's a joker, no? Yeah. You can laugh at her, but my mama, she have a streetwise that like no other, and she make them laugh, and she make them food, and some of them was wounded, so she helped them to how to say it,
to bind up their wounds. Yeah.
Yeah, and he told me that they need to relax, and they sang songs. I don't know how she managed to do it, but we knew all the time that if someone can do it, that's her. Yeah. You need to meet her and to know
we would like to.
This person. She's really amazing. Not just because she's my mom. Everyone loves her. She worked in her job in the military base for 43 years. Everyone knew her. She loved the soldiers, and she hugged them and she helped them. So I think this is why she got saved. Beside of what happened to my parents, there's a lot of citizens and police officers and soldiers that are murdered and kept as hostages in Gaza. Those bastards, I'm sorry for my language, and I'm trying to be calm, did a massacre to Israeli south part. In Ofakim, Be'eri, Urim, Re'im, Sderot. I'm serving in Sderot police station. 6 of my policemen are dead, got murdered by them, and he did a massacre. I want to say that everyone that you show that, this interview or whatever, need to know that Israel wants peace. Israel not looking for war. We're not bad people. We are warm and loving people, but we need to defend ourselves. They came from Gaza and did this massacre, and now we need to save our country. I know they got brainwashed all over the world, and they get the misunderstanding what's going on. That's why I'm here and telling you. They are the terrorists. We are loving, and we're the only democrat country in the Middle East. There's Arabs inside Israel, and they live here, and they work here, and we have friends in the military, by the way. We do not have a problem with anyone. If they're trying to hurt us, what can we do? We need to save ourselves. So, in another opinion or whatever, when this is over and everything goes to normal, I wish you all came here for good reasons, and you will love our country. You go to Jaffa and Tel Aviv and Jerusalem and also to Ofakim, you will see the good people of Israel, and you will see that we have a good food and good weather and good atmosphere and good vibes. And this is not also just war. Israel has a lot to offer, and I wish you will come back here for good reasons.
Maybe your mother's cooking.
We'll see. She tell everyone, come and I will cook it, and I told her, you don't have a house. She said, it's okay. That's my mama. That's it.
That's the secret weapon, is a good Jewish mother's cooking that they should apply to the...
No, we're laughing about it. I lost, only me, I lost the friends and the co-workers and neighbors, and they were feeling down and were really depressed. But my mom, she make Israel and people of Israel, and it's all over the world. And she's a symbol of this world because she kept on smiling and good and positive set minds.
Can I ask a question? And that is, why do you think these particular 5 terrorists let 19 hours go by? I mean, thank God. I'm just saying, no, that wasn't happening in most other places.
The question that has been spoken before. First of all, it's a miracle.
Yeah.
And as I said, I think God Himself came down here and saved my parents. And they doing the massacre from the streets above and from the street from the right side of my right side. And when they heard the policemen, they came here. And they thought to themselves, let's go inside the house and they will keep hostages. So they figured out what they're going to do next. They didn't know what to do. I think they were afraid that they get killed, and so they came here and tried to negotiate and to do something else. That's it.